But you think about like all the bloodshed in the world, in the history of the world, the unnecessary deaths, the utter horror and atrocities of innocent people being the victims of a few power-hungry people who can't resolve this issue that I'm talking about. It really just comes down to that. I mean, you think of how, like, I mean, I do, I don't know about you, but, you know, my life is precious. The opportunities I have to experience things are precious. And the fact that I'm 50 years old now and I may have, less than 50 years left to live this life is somewhat frightening to me because I love being here. So imagine being a 3-year-old child, playing in your small village, and you just get, destroyed, you and your sister, and, your brother is left to fend for himself. He's 6 years old, saw all the atrocity, saw his mother get killed, and, I mean, for what? Because two opposing viewpoints could not come to any commonality. When the truth of the matter is, when you get right down to it, there's so much more we all have in common: Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, Muslim, Christian, atheist, agnostic, than we have differences. And I think that's I think that is probably the shame. That is probably the shame of the history of the world, right there. I mean, come on. You think about the pain of people's lives just being cut short. That stuff just going on every day like that. Yeah, you could take it all the way back to, aborted fetuses. But just look at it as, your neighbor across the street going to Stop and Shop, and some gangbang drive-by accidentally eliminates them from the planet, from continuing that beautiful networking of relationships that took years to develop, where they're just about to be, they're on the verge of some kind of reconciliation. It's a great opportunities and creativity. Whoops, bullet. Sorry, dead. Nice try. Okay, bye-bye. I just think it's ridiculous that religion has just marred this planet with so much blood, and not innocent blood, given freely like Jesus did. I'm talking about innocent victims who had no connection to the conflict that was going on, and they're, end up losing their lives over it. I mean, the physical death of it is enough of a horror. But if you look at the, the emotional and spiritual death that goes on all the time in your life, my life, your community, people always making these divisions between each other. Oh my goodness. And why? Because they're focusing on something different. Look at it this way. You don't, like, for instance, like gossip. Gossip is a horrible thing. Gossip is nasty, ugly. It intends to separate. There's no, there's nothing edifying in it. And I'm guilty of it as anyone. Sometimes something happens and I'll say something to somebody about something I shouldn't have, and almost as soon as it comes out of my mouth, it's just like ding, 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 ding. You're a jerk. What are you doing? What did you just do? Do you feel better now? You said something negative about someone to someone else. Do you feel better now? No, I feel horrible. Good. Wasn't that great? No. Don't do it again. Okay. And then you end up doing it again. But my point is, whether it's violence and being blown away by a Uzi or being the victim of someone's critical gossip that is really nobody's business. It's basically, you're violating that, that fluid line that keeps public and private in this nice equilibrium. Well, gossip just cuts that. It just cuts that line. Because you're just like, like a bullet. You're just putting private into public. I mean, there's no organic development there of the synthesis of certain energies and components that make public and private work together. No, that's just absolute, disrespect of that private integrity. So, there's that. And let's see, what else would there be? I'm getting off track a little bit. Let's see if I can get back to originally I was talking about why I originally was talking about what this guy was saying to me last night. Well, I was just very in tune. I guess it just brought, maybe it was an example of, it didn't matter to me, it didn't matter to him that I was a Christian, and it didn't matter to me that I knew what of any faith he was. He was speaking from his experience, and it was, applicable to me, but I think based on what he said, it could apply to anyone. And so I guess that's what I'm saying, is I think we really need to focus more on that type of thing. Now, I have to get to you Christians out there. So having said all that, it sort of sounds like I'm saying, there's no need for any exclusive type religions like Christianity or Islam. I mean, I'm not an expert on Islam, but it seems like it has its fundamentalist issues like Christianity can. You never hear of a fundamentalist Buddhist, We should Google that and see if we can find fundamentalist Buddhism and see what kind of trouble they're running into. Probably doesn't exist, right? So I guess that's the thing here, is that, all right, it sounds like I'm saying it doesn't matter. Because all we do is focus on what we have in common, okay? I want to breathe. I want to have food. I want to have shelter. I want to have free choice, and not, to live in a safe environment. Isn't that what we all want? So why is it we can't get there? If that's what we all want, what's keeping us from getting there? It's the focus on the differences. All right. So given that, we all have the problem of Jesus Christ. All of us have the problem of Jesus Christ. Sorry, we all do. Muslims, Christians, atheists, we all have the problem of Jesus Christ. Why? Because historically, the best records we have of who Jesus was is that he came to establish a new order. And and clearly put himself at the center of it. So much so that he is the supreme sacrifice for the world's condition, and that he is the doorway and the access to full divine nature being realized in all of us.